Hey everybody, welcome to Doug's Open Mic. Without further ado, here is your host, the man himself, DUG.
Hey, hey!
Hey Doug, how are you?
I am good. I am good. So tonight we have Phil Adams, who's a local musician, does a lot of great original work, so he'll be on momentarily. Just a little bit of context. Normally we kind of stay away from anything topical because people we have more views and stuff after the fact than before. And it could be somebody might see this a month from now or 6 months from now or a year from now, hopefully. So it's June 2020, and we're right in the middle of this COVID thing. So it's a little bit relevant because I'm going to quiz Phil a little bit on how he's coping.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, let's bring him on. Phil, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay. All right, here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Here he is.
Phil Adams.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Mr. Phil, how are you?
How are you? I'm doing all right.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. You look comfortable in there.
I am very comfortable. I have my own little man cave that's quite nice, I have to say.
Yeah, I've tried to get my own kind of
years in the making, but it's pretty good.
Awesome stuff.
In fact, back when I left Darlington, I started my own little consulting business. I made this into my office type thing, and my younger daughter also. So one thing I did is put new floors in it and stuff just laminate floors, And my daughter's like, "How come you got new floors? How come I never got any new floors like this?" My answer was, "When you were here, we never knew you even had a floor." So how you been? So I don't know if you heard the intro or not, but normally we stay away from topical, but this is we're right in the middle of the stupid COVID things. So
Yeah.
how you make it out?
It's been different for sure. I think I've tended to be at kind of an advantage for the situation just because of the fact that because of my what I do, which is I primarily play music for money, and I have just a tiny side job, but I'm really I'm rarely ever doing much when I'm not working other than just kind of being at home and relaxing anyway. And around, whenever there's anything going around, I'm always pretty precautious. So really a lot of the stuff that they were having us do, while a lot of people were kind of like, oh man, like for me, a lot of it wasn't too much different from my normal routine around cold and flu season. And then, like I said, just because I'm so busy, like, my job is being out and around people. So when I'm not working, I don't really have any desire to be out in the public and around people, So.
I know that was my joke too. It's like when it first started, it's like, so we gotta like hang around in the house and not go out and visit, it's like that's me anyways.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I have to not deal with people and
cars
and driving.
I'm gonna hang around inside the house. Yeah, I was like, that's what I do anyway.
And the places I would go are grocery store, gas station. Again, the same places I would normally be leaving the house for anyway. So,
but for a lot of musicians, I mean, I would say most, probably 75% of their money is gigs, and they just gone.
Yeah. I mean, it was lucky that they implemented phase 3 of the CARES Act so that people who were independent contractors and Schedule C and stuff like that could actually apply for unemployment for the first time in that I'm aware of in U.S.
Yeah, so you got regular unemployment?
I was actually originally, because I wasn't sure that was.
I mean, I don't want to get too personal.
Oh no, it's fine. But that's the thing is, I actually applied through my supplemental job because I knew that I could definitely get unemployment through a books job. But luckily, because of the extra $600 that they were giving, it ended up being sustainable, because otherwise I would have been getting like $96 a week, which is not sustainable. So it's definitely been weird, and it's been kind of of course, everybody deals with things differently, but I find it hard to call anything in my situation stressful when I kind of look at how much worse it's been for so many other people. And even just here in Westerly and Mystic, my bass player says all the time, we live in kind of a bubble. We're not necessarily the best like sample of the population at large because we kind of have the option to be spread out, and we have the beaches, we have parks, we have places, and we have a lot more stuff we can do around here where we can be not necessarily cooped up, but without being interacting with people and putting other people at risk,
My older daughter lives in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, that's not.
She's so. I mean, her and her husband, they were in a small apartment. That's it. Yeah, that is it. I don't know.
My stress levels would be a lot higher if I lived in even a slightly denser place. But I mean, I can't imagine living in like a mecca or a city like any part of New York City. Manhattan, Brooklyn, any place like that. It's just you're on top of people. You're forced to live on top of people.
I mean, I've been there sometimes. I mean, when I think of New York City, one thing I always kind of sticks with me. You're walking down the street is so hot. It takes you 3 times as long because walking down the street it takes effort.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have to pay attention every minute. You're going around this person, around that person, this person coming out, this person. It's like,
oh yeah. And then you see the people there that are more touristy than you, and they're not looking at all because they have like a map out, or they're looking at Google Map on their phones or something. And what? They walk into.
Or even just the regular New Yorkers are just
get
their face down in their phone.
Yeah. Well, it's because they in their case they're going, well, I know where I'm going, so get out of my way, tourists. It's the same kind of thing when you drive in cities. If you don't really know where you're going, you're trying to drive the speed limit, and then the people who are from the town are trying to run.
I've been that guy, and you feel bad about things. It's like, but you feel like putting a big sign. It's like, hey. I don't know. I got to take a right somewhere, but I don't know where. So
especially in places like Boston, where they like change the names of roads every like 7 years.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you how many times I've been in Boston, and it'll be like, take a left onto this road, and I'm look at the sign, and the name is not the name they just said, and then I pass it, and they go, please turn around. I'm like, all right, so obviously that's just not the street name anymore, and they never updated on maps.
So anyway, enough of that stuff. What we hear about is music. So
indeed.
So give us a song and give us a little background.
All right. I'm going to start with one that I usually start a lot of sets with. This one is called Turning It Over. It's actually the second track off of my sophomore album, Silent Note Society. This tune is one of many that I kind of wrote about my struggles with alcoholism and depression, and just kind of overcoming that stuff. This song is there's a lot of just stuff in this one that were kind of, the ideas of me starting to kind of get into become my new self, if you will, and kind of get rid of the old stuff. So I'm going to go ahead with this one. Make sure my mic is there. We go. Begin to let me let go. Well, I'm burning both ends of the candle. Well, at the end of the day, don't worry. Well, I'll only take on what I can handle. Well, I don't want to start believing you will never leading me close. to the ground. Baby, I've been around just like a drunk getting sober. I'm turning it over. Turning it over. We win, but only incognito. No one knows we're playing a game. Well, I can't explain. The people stopping to remember my name, and I don't want to start believing you were never leading me closer, further away. Feels like I'm finally never lonely, but ever since you told me you'd stay, nothing's breaking me down. Well, I'll turn it around. Well, I'm turning it over. I got my head on, feet to the ground. Baby, I've been around just like a drunk getting sober. I'm turning it over. Turning it over.
Cool beans.
Thank you.
So, you had a little rough time for a while there. Do you mind talking? I don't want to make you uncomfortable.
Sure. Yeah. No, not at all. I mean, I'm a pretty open dude, and that that comes a lot with the territory of kind of having to get stuff out in the open in order to hold myself accountable and get myself to the right place. But yeah, I've been alcohol free for about 5.5 years now, almost. And yeah, it just keeps going. Hopefully I just, keep being thankful and then lose track at some point of how many years have gone by.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it was harder when I was younger because when I was I was in popular bands in the state when I was when I was a younger guy. I had Orange Jam Conspiracy and The Move. A lot of my friends still kind of lament over those bands, and a lot of people that still follow me around are still really hold on to they just liked those bands because we did fun stuff and we were young. We were like 14. Two of us were 14, two of us were 15, and we used to switch instruments. I played drums, bass, and guitar in the band. One guy played bass and guitar, another guy played bass and drums. So we would just switch off based on different stuff. But over the course of all that time, throughout the years, I just I partied a lot with people, and people gave me a lot of free things over the course of the years, and and drinking was almost just like this underlying thing that just kind of went. It was more of like an associative thing that went with everything else. So
it absolutely is with the I mean, if you're playing out a bar at 10 o'clock at night with your friend, that's just what it's there.
yeah, exactly. And and for people who don't have, and again, this is another thing that's kind of semi-controversial. I mean, there's a lot more scientific evidence that alcoholism is an actual thing, but there's obviously a lot of people that still believe that it's a matter of addictive personality or just willpower or something like that.
I don't.
But that's the difference. Is there are normal people out there who can even drink every day, but the thing is that they can have a beer. They can have two beers and stop. Like that's how I was when I was a teenager. But by the time I was 26, I needed vodka first thing in the morning in order to like not.
Ooh. Oh,
I'd be sick all day long if I didn't get it.
really?
So, yeah, it was just not the way to be.
I mean, I like my beer, but it's usually not till 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
yeah. And this wasn't like, I wasn't buying Grey Goose either. This wasn't exactly the top shelf stuff.
No, it's like,
it was the bottom of the barrel. I'm not even sure that it technically chemically counts as vodka. I think it's just like grain alcohol scrapings that aren't quite the same potency as Graves. So
you kind of wonder sometimes if you're in like a package store or something like that. It's like for some reason in the afternoon, and all of a sudden the guy in front of you is like buying 4 nips of vodka. It was like, oh, I don't know, buddy.
Where are you trying to like hide and function as the this whatever you're trying to do right now?
So have you written multiple songs about your It's so here's one of a good conversation which you probably could relate to. We're someplace and we're talking, I think MDB Mark Douglas Brado there, and they were saying something, and somebody said, I forget how it brought up, but it's like basically that there are artists that keep returning to the same song, type of song. It could be about addiction or alcohol or women or something. And his theory was, which I think he was right on, it's like sometimes you just got to keep writing because you just not, you got to get it out, and it's just the last one it's just not right. I got to do another one.
Yeah. And it's the ideas too, for a lot of songwriters, and I know especially someone like Mark. We've talked a lot, and we share a lot of similar inspirations and influences, and but we also are both people who we need to create kind of in order to figure stuff out. Sometimes a lot of times Mark will have a story about somebody that he's observed that, like his song, The Lightning, like that, Lightning's great. But he'll do these biographical tunes that aren't necessarily about him, but a lot of the autobiographical stuff, as with me, is, it's less about, here, let me tell you guys what I'm going through, and more about, I got to write this shit down. So it's more of like an artistic way of organizing my thoughts. It's like if I present it to myself in a different fashion, I can almost like see my points more objectively, if that makes any sense.
My favorite songwriters are all storytellers.
Oh yeah.
Lyle Lovett, my number one guy.
Oh yeah, Lyle Lovett's great.
Yeah.
And Lyle Lovett's definitely a big Roy Orbison fan too.
Yeah.
And I know, Roy and all those, Roy and everyone he was with in the Traveling Wilburys with, those dudes are all, Petty, Dylan, they're all, Harrison, they're all great storytellers. And I've actually always kind of admired that style more than I can do it. My autobiographical stuff definitely tends to be more metaphoric and kind of just, I just have a lot of wordplay and kind of fun with myself while I'm creating lyrics. But I've always, Don McLean, American Pie was one of the first songs I heard when I was a little kid. And, I was blown away by how long the song was when I had finally heard the full version, not the radio version. And I was maybe like 10 or 11 when I, first tried to like learn it all. And I was like, wow, listen to all these lyrics. And that was
it's like, boy, I love Bob Dylan too. The more lyrics, the better.
That's the thing. It's like,
lyrics, the better. I was like,
that's one of the reasons I don't play a lot of Dylan. It's just mostly because it's hard for me to remember all the verses, and I'm not going to like half-ass a Dylan song and play like, play 2 verses and have half the story there and then just end the tune and have Dylan fans in the audience be like, maybe don't play that if you're not going to sing the whole thing.
So when you've been talking to Mark Douglas, has he ever told you the Dynamite story?
I'm not sure if he has.
You would know it. Next time you see him, tell him you want to know the Dynamite story.
All right.
It's a great story.
Did he tell that on the show here?
He did do it on the show on the audio ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so you went look back for the audio one and look for his show, which is probably about a year and a half ago, maybe.
Yeah,
it's a great story. I mean, to put it down in like 30 words is like, he was at a bar playing, met a guy, they went home drinking, guy had some, guy said, you want to see a little thing go off? I got some dynamite. And he blew up like a half a stick of dynamite off in Mark's backyard. Blew out windows in the neighborhood. The terrorism squad came.
Oh my God! So what? This guy acquire it and just think he had like
and of course he was gone.
Oh yeah.
And Mark said the only thing he got out of it is like he did, which I'm a big fan of. The I'm an idiot defense.
Yeah. Well,
I'm an idiot. Do what you got to do. I understand. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many more times I can play that card.
Well, you just got to keep doing it on different people. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Good stuff.
All right, give us a song.
All right, sure. Let's venture into something. I'll do something kind of a little on the newer side here. This one I'll kind of leave up to interpretation. It'll mean what it means to certain people. Sitting on a rock wall, breathe the living in, and took a walk, yeah. We swim in the pool, but we find ourselves still digging for more gold. You see some fool headed at something that wasn't his, and there he dropped his charges there. Now he's in the room, the fool rules the roost, and now I must know if you say so. Oh, yeah. Did you really think about it, babe? Now everything's wrong. Did you really think about it, babe? 'Cause only a fool wouldn't think about it, babe. And it's about time now that you thought it out and signed in blood. Yeah, signed in blood. Yeah. Now, do you stand for nothing, but you're the loudest talking? You better take your seat, kid, before history's repeated. It's time to get back now. We've gotten way off track now, and I'm depleted, but not defeated. Oh. Did you really think about it, babe? Now everything's wrong. Did you really think about it, babe? 'Cause only a fool to think about it, babe. 'Cause it's about time now that you thought it out and signed in blood. Yeah, now you wanna take it back, well, you can have them back. stand for nothing, but you're the loudest talking. Better take your seat, kid, before history's repeated. Oh, did you really think about it, babe? That everything's wrong. Did you really think about it, babe? 'Cause only a fool would think about it, babe.
All right.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, I got one more alcohol problem question, if you don't mind.
All right, sure.
So when you got down, knew you had to do something, were you able to get help, or did you have to kind of do it on your own?
I mean, realistically, you always need help. You can't necessarily always do it on your own, but in the end, it is ultimately up to you. In terms of getting it actually through, it wasn't like I knew and then I just did it. It took me 3 times through detox and rehab, and I would put together a couple of months and think that I was getting it because I was starting to feel better. Your body heals, your brain cells start coming back, so you're like, oh, I'm understanding, I'm getting it. And really, some stuff didn't quite sink in, and whatever, something would take over, and then the next thing I know, I'd be back at the store. And but after the third time,
well,
after the third rock, the vending machine went over, and and it just took, and that's really what it is. It's just you have to have that aha moment where where it just really clicks that you don't, you got to want to live. You got to want to live. You got to want to do work. You have to want things out of life, and that's what the alcohol does. It just sucks all of that out of you. So it gets hard to find your identity and get it back,
Yeah, the whole money thing bothers me. That people with problems with money get a lot more help than people with problems that don't have money. If I was king,
mm-hmm.
if you had a problem with drugs or alcohol, you could just walk into any hospital, any doctor's office, and just say, I got a problem.
Yeah.
And the first question would be like, okay, tell us about it. Not, well, do you have insurance?
Yeah.
Like, how much money do you have? First, but it's like automatic. Yeah. You got a problem. You don't get.
Yep. That's I if you run for king, I'll cast my vote.
That might be a good thing, but there'll probably be some bad things that put into. So, Ben was curious about your setup there.
Oh yeah, that's true. I initially, when this whole thing had started, I wasn't really planning on doing a lot of live streaming or anything like that. And then as people kind of gradually reached out, mostly just to communicate and kind of do like, I want to do little recording projects and stuff like that. And just out of boredom, I just grabbed my my gig gear, actually, just out of which I just have a little Mackie Pro Effects 12-channel mixer. And it's got a USB out on it. And I don't know what took me so long to realize I could use this for recording and stuff at home. But then as soon as I realized that, I was like, wait, this is great for streaming, because I can live, actually, like, I can mix the stuff before it goes in. You know what I mean? That's huge if you have control over what it sounds like before it gets to anyone's ears.
It sounds like you get the same exact mixer that I have.
Probably, yeah. The Pro FX 12.
Yep.
Yeah. Those they're great, and I mean, for the price too. I bought this 4 years ago, maybe now, and I have no problems with it. But yeah, so I have that. I have what I have is my Zoom. It's a Q4N, which is actually one of the discontinued models of Zoom recorders. Now they have Q4s and Q8s. But I have that running at USB as my video here. That's why the video is so clear, and there's a lot less latency than you get with webcams usually. And then and then all the sound is just straight from my mixer. I have a nice cardioid mic here, and for the guitar, I put in just a tiny. I plug it in. It's electric acoustic, and I put just a little bit of the electric feed with like a low end mix. So basically, you get all the high end, and the room sound is picked up from my vocal mic off the guitar, and then all the beef that you lose from that is just supplied very lightly underneath everything. So that's why it sounds so warm. But I'm glad it sounds okay on your end over there.
Ben's going to be mad at me because we're going to go a little bit over, but we got more stuff to talk about. So So speaking of equipment, I got to tell you this thing I bought about a year and a half, the Fishman Loudbox battery one.
Oh, really?
Have you seen it?
I've seen things like it. You're talking about the ones that go like you put them basically on the acoustic guitar.
No. This is basically an amp, but it's about 35 pounds. It's probably about as big as a suitcase, but it's got a rechargeable battery in it.
Oh,
and so I played it like on like me and Craig Edwards played in the Mystic Flagpole, and I found a battery. It's freaking great.
Really?
Yeah,
it sounds nice. It sounds
my daughter's boyfriend has also borrowed it. He did a wedding, and they kind of did it like wanted to do on the beach. No problem.
Yeah. That's awesome. Who makes it?
Fishman.
Oh, that's right. You said that. Yeah, Fishman.
And you can get them on Alpha Audio's the distributor around here.
So. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, right over at Mystic. I'll definitely look at it.
350 maybe. I'm thinking
that's not bad at all. That's less.
And it's got 20 or something, and I just like it. For me, the weight is perfect. I mean, my other amp is like 50 pounds. You wouldn't think 15 pounds makes a difference.
No, it does. I mean, I have for electric, I use a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe, which is probably like the quintessential like working man's amp. I'm sure half the electric guitar players you see around here play a Deluxe or a DeVille. And and one of the things is I love the size because it doesn't take up a lot of room. But for how small they are, they're heavy little guys. Like I have to carry either double-handed like chest-wise so I don't hurt my back, or I have to carry it in tandem with my pedal board so I'm like balanced. Otherwise, my alignment's all off and my back hurts afterward.
I mean, I got a Blues Junior, which I really like too.
Oh yeah, I like those too. That actually, I wouldn't mind getting one of those because they have a very similar tone to the Deluxe. They're they're just a little bit more compact.
We're quite boring the hell out of everybody. It's like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
I mean, I'm not a gearhead by any means either, and so I mean, these are fairly layman terms. I think most people who are,
Yeah, that's what we like to do.
Yeah, it's like you just like to learn. Well, the reason I had asked when you said the Fishman thing, there's these things I see advertisements all the time for, and it's like by this company called Tonewood or something.
Yeah.
And I see them on. It's like a little box like this.
Oh yeah, I think
you put it on the back of the guitar, and it's like it amplifies. I
know somebody got one, but I didn't really get a chance to listen to it. But
yeah, and those I think are probably not so affordable. I think it's just judging by the way they look. If they actually do what they're supposed to, they're probably not very cheap. But that the Fishman amp that sounds awesome because I know they.
Yeah, no, it's. For certain venues, it's perfect. I mean, I even use it sometimes if I know there will be power, just because I like the size and the control. It sounds great, and it's got plenty of oomph.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes certain rooms, even for smaller gigs, you don't necessarily want everything going into the same mix, just because of the way the room is set up and the sound just gets so muddied up if it's all going through the same thing. So if you can kind of space things out a little bit, let me have my guitar sound down here and then have my vocals up here. So that way, people they're not, the sound of the guitar isn't like vibrating their ears while they're trying to like eat and drink and stuff like that, but they can like still hear the words to the songs that they want to listen to.
So do you have any CDs like on iTunes or anything like that? If anybody wants some of your stuff?
Yes, actually, both of my my solo records that I've put out in 2016 and 2018, respectively, Pieces of Her and Silent Note Society, they're both available under just the name Phil Adams, and they're on every major digital distributor, or digital music service. So yeah, iTunes, Deezer, and I mean all the streaming ones too, like Spotify and but yeah, and if you want to buy hard copies, you can always go to cdbaby.com and just search for Phil Adams, and they'll send you hard copies of those. And I also have a lot of hard copies always on me at various gigs. So if you ever see me in town, if gigs ever,
I hope I see you soon, my friend.
Happen again. But yeah, everything's available, and you can always check out. Right now, there's not a lot going on the website, except there's I just have some information up there based around the current movement around the country, in case people want to help out any organizations who are for fighting for equality and stuff like that. So that's most of what's on my front page right now. But you can always go to philadamsofficial.com and check my full calendar, which hopefully soon some of those dates will be honored, at least like the smaller little gigs around here.
It's opening up a little bit.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I mean, it was just so surreal having a gig on Sunday. Not even so much playing the gig, but when I went to the bathroom, I was like, this is weird. I'm in a public restroom that isn't a gas station or a Stop and Shop.
Yeah, I actually played a gig on Sunday too over at the Phoenix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I mean, it was nobody there, but
yeah.
But they're trying. They're trying. Yeah. I give them kudos for trying.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they definitely dump some money into some of those bigger tribute shows that they've had there.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, we've kind of run over a little bit, but that's okay. So give us a song to
sure.
And I will see you around.
Yeah. See you around town, and then obviously I'm more than happy to come back on here anytime, because this is nice and easy going. Yep.
All
right. So for my last tune here, I'm just gonna do another one off of Silent Note Society. This one's called Pretty Sure. And this is kind of another one about coming into myself. This one's a little bit more about the spiritual aspect than the removal of substances necessarily. It's an interesting tuning intro. There is a ghost, it seems, living so close to me, riding the coastal breeze, seeing my shows for free. He looks so hollow, well I don't dare follow, but he's always where I am, and I do not understand. He paints me a picture in a boat by the sea. Now I see the ghost is me. I'm pretty sure this time, I'm pretty sure that I'm fine, and I'm not sure what I see, but I'm pretty sure I'm me. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm me, yeah. I could not let him be. We sat down for toast and tea. The ghostie spoke to me. He told me his hopes and dreams, raveled through scattered memories and cutted room floor, deleted scenes. And when we got to the bottom of the mystery, he disappeared right in front of me. I'm pretty sure this time, I'm pretty sure that I'm fine, and I'm not sure what I see, but I'm pretty sure we found comfort in defeat. This low, something had to go. Well, I just got restless in this seat, this low. Yeah, there's nowhere left to go, but no one else could take the heat, this low. Nowhere left to go. Well, I found my strength when I fell weak. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure this time, pretty sure that I'm fine. And I'm not sure what I see, but I'm pretty sure this time, yeah, pretty sure that I'm fine. And I'm not sure what I see. I'm pretty sure I'm me. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm me. Yeah. Say, oh no, I'm pretty sure I'm me. Yeah, no. Thanks so much, Doug. And thanks, everybody.